My name's Pam, and I'm one of the trustees, and I would like to welcome everybody from wherever you happen to be, whether you're in the sanctuary or zooming in from near or far, or even as far away as outside the galaxy. Anyway, we're so happy that you're here and spending some of your Sunday morning with us. So sit back, relax, participate, and enjoy.
Our chalice lighting come from Psalm 139. This is really heavy. I don't think you can see it, but I am holding the Meeting House Bible. I got okay, so I am just reading. I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Psalm 139, or Psalm C, X, 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 I, X. Come into this place of peace, and let its silence heal your spirit. Come into this place of memory, and let our stories challenge. Come into this place of prophecy and power, and let our collective vision change your heart. Welcome to our time of worship. I'm so delighted to be here. I'm not quite sure where to look in the eye of the camera, to look at the people, to look at the so I'm figuring this out. This is a new setup. I'm Mellen Kennedy, and it is my honor to serve as your former minister here at the Meeting House and to be back visiting. We're going to take a trip into some really challenging territory today, so I hope you're ready. And what better way to prepare than have your crayons on hand, right? So I invited you in the invitation to the service to bring something to draw with. So if you don't have something to draw with, you can grab a crayon or something like that. In the children's story. So I just read from Psalm 139. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Who are you? Who are you as a human being? What are you all about? What does it mean to be human? And what better way to lead into the service than remembering that we are not just human, we are spiritual beings. We are physical beings, we are spiritual beings. Are we saints? Are we holy? Are we sacred? I think we are. So let us sing together when the saints go marching in, and you're one of them, right? So here we go.
When the saints go marching in, when the saints go marching in, Lord, I want to be in that number. When the saints go marching in, when the saints go marching in, when the saints go marching in. saints go marching in, oh, marching in. When the saints go marching in, Lord, I want to be in that number. When the saints go marching in, when the saints go marching in, oh, marching in. When the saints go marching in, Lord, I want to be in that number. When the saints go marching in, when the saints go marching in, when the saints go marching in, Lord, I want to be in that number. When the saints go marching in.
Thank you. So I see, June, you were adjusting some things. Are we okay now? Can we hear well enough? Do I need to speak louder? We okay? Okay. So, time for the kids' story.
It appears you're a little low, so I think the camera a little close.
Okay, thank you.
It should
Okay,
be,
so we set now?
should be okay.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Hopefully.
Appreciate your help. So I want to just invite you with your crayons, I got mine, and your paper, you can use the back of your order service, to draw a picture of heaven or the kingdom of God on earth. And if you don't believe in heaven, don't worry about it. Draw it anyway. What is the idealized version of the world, of the kingdom of God, the queendom of God, the beauty of the divine on earth, things in good order, heaven. So draw away. Got your drawing done? If you are welcome to share your drawing. You could put it up like I'm doing right now. I don't know if you can see mine very well. Put it up on your screen, and those of us in the sanctuary, we can share our drawings with each other. So go for it. Not in the mood for drawing, Larry? Okay, that's what you want. All right. That's how we're in similar. Yeah, sunshine, trees. Yep. Yep. All right. You got a drawing, Bill?
Yeah, it's a stick
Let's
figure
see.
of my wife.
Oh, isn't that sweet? A stick figure of his wife draws Bill. That's sweet. Anybody want to share their pictures? You're being shy. It's not a contest. It's a doorway to fun. Not ready to share your pictures. Okay, so what I saw here, someone has one? Allie, was that you? Someone has one?
Marie.
Anne Marie. Oh, okay, Anne Marie. Okay, you've got people there. I can't quite see it. Can you describe it, Anne Marie?
I'm not sure I can describe it, but it's kind of like all in together, and we're all taking care and watching each other, and there's lots of hugging going on.
Lots of hugging going on. Okay, I had something similar.
Yeah.
I had some people and they're hugging, and Diane and Jeff. I've got a sun. I've got a tree. I've got plants. Jeff had something really similar. Diane had mountains and a sun, some vegetation. And I think yours had some smiling faces too, didn't it? Or not? No? No, it was Bill's. Okay, so So that's our view, and there's a lot of similarity here, at least in the sanctuary and what I saw of Anne Marie's. Sort of harmony, hugging, happy bodies together, beautiful happy bodies together, the sun, the moon, the plants, all of it. So let's put that on hold. Come back to that later in the service. Thanks for being a good sport and drawing if you chose to participate in the fun. So now the offering to support the important work of our small and mighty congregation will be given and received. Well, the title of my sermon today is The Most Important Book I Read in Seminary. And this was part of a course on ethics that I took at Meadville Lombard Theological School, which is a Unitarian Universalist seminary in Chicago. And the professor introduced this book by saying, I'm not sure if, okay. I'm still trying to figure out the technology from this new perspective. Do you want to spotlight me? Because I've got the slides I'm going to show. So there we go. Excellent. Yeah, I need the spotlight so people can read the slides clearly. Thank you very much. So the professor prefaced this by saying, you who are in seminary now, and this was 20-something years ago, about 20 years ago, probably 20-something years ago. You who are training to be ministers now, you will be confronting a tremendous ethical challenge in your ministry. And her hope was us exploring this together would prepare us. So I did a PowerPoint of this. So let me do a screen share here. This was it. The book was called How We Became Post-Human: Virtual Bodies in Cybernetics, Literature, and Information. Huh? What? It was brand new at the time. It was cutting edge. Now there are more than 2,000 books. I looked the other day. There are more than 2,000 books on post-humanism and transhumanism. And when my professor introduced this, she said, you will be wrangling with this. There will be arguments. There will be debates. It will cause great turmoil and tremendous conversations. What is she talking about? I'll tell you, I did not like the book in the least. I read it, sort of. Was very troubled by it. What is posthumanism? The posthumanist, sometimes called a transhumanist, views human dignity as a matter of seizing the opportunity to modify and enhance human nature in ways that include the deceleration or arresting of aging, genetic engineering, the bodily introduction of nanotechnology and cybernetics, reproductive cloning, and even downloading of mind into immortalizing computers. Huh? What the heck? Post-humanism, also called transhumanism. The easiest way I can explain what this means, Star Trek. This is Geordi, if you're not a Star Trek fan. Geordi is a human being. And he has a visor, which he wears, but it's more than just an external. He has implants in his head. So he's a cyborg. He's human, but he has mechanical and I don't know if he has genetic enhancements, but he's got computer enhancements. So he can see better than you and I. He can read temperatures. He can, when he looks at something, he can decode the composition of the material. His vision has been enhanced by his visor, but he's still human, sort of. Well, yeah. But then, and here's Data. Data is an android. Data looks like a human, but he is not human. You can take off his arm, and you can see the electrical circuitry in his arm. You can repair him. You can turn him off. And he has an evil brother twin.
Lore.
Yeah. Thank you, Bill. I couldn't remember his name. So this is Data. And so Data is an android. He's not human, looks like a human. So transhumanism, what the heck? I would not recommend you reading that book. It's very dense, it's very difficult, and it's actually outdated. It was written in 1999. Slightly more recently is this book. We all love Bill McKibben, don't we? Here's a copy of his book. I forget the year, after, maybe about 15 years ago, I would say. The subtitle is Staying Human in an Engineered World, Bill McKibben. Have you heard of this one? Everybody loves Bill McKibben, but no one talks about this book. I've never heard anyone reference this book by Bill McKibben. I don't blame you. I read it sort of, and I was horrified. And this was 15 years ago. And Bill McKibben, in his book, this is a review of it, explores the frontiers of genetic engineering, robotics, nanotechnology, all of which are approaching at astonishing speed. In fact, they are here. And shows that each threatens to take us past a point of no return. What Michael Collins calls, we are on a moral and existential threshold, poised between the human past and the post-human future. Are you horrified? I am, sort of. Or I would be, but so I don't like either of these books. And when it came out, I started reading Bill McKibben's book, and I didn't get very far because it was so bizarre and overwhelming. Nanotechnology, these little robotic things that go into your body and change, they're able to build, and it was just too much for me. I was just like, do I even want to know this? And yet, thinking about my professor from seminary saying, this is it, folks. Pay attention. This is going to be the frontier of ethical issues in your ministry. And so I kind of couldn't ignore it. I couldn't put it down, although I did not like it in the least. And this is what Michael Pollan, many of us are fans of Michael Pollan. He says in this book, McKibben shines his powerful light on another momentous change that is upon us, the ability to re-engineer ourselves and therefore the very meaning of human identity. If he is right, then humankind stands on a moral and existential threshold or cliff. We would do well as a society to weigh his racing argument before taking another step. That was 15 years ago. Where are we? What the heck is going on? And so much has changed since I read that book on transhumanism 20-something years ago at seminary, and since Bill McKibben came out with his book, that the technology is pushing ahead at breakneck speed. And here's an example from Bill McKibben's book. What will you have done to your newborn when you have installed into the nucleus of every one of her billions of purchased code that will pump out proteins designed to change her? You will have robbed her of the last possible chance for creating context that is meaningful for her life. Say she finds herself at the age of 16 unaccountably happy. Is her being happy finding perhaps the first boy that she will love? Or is it the corporate product inserted within her when she was a small nest of cells, an artificial chromosome now causing her body to produce more serotonin? Don't you think she'd wonder? At 16, a sensitive soul questions everything, but perhaps you've increased her intelligence, and perhaps that is why she is questioning so hard. She won't be sure if even the questions are hers. Yikes, yikes, yikes. We are on the verge of this right now. And in my ministry, I did encounter this I have encountered this in a way. I mean, there's cloning, there's genetic engineering, there's nanoparticles. It's just so complicated. It's amazing. A couple for whom I had the honor of officiating their marriage, and they were able to get pregnant, and they did a genetic testing on the fetus and came up with some concerns about the state of the fetus. And then they were in complete turmoil whether to terminate the pregnancy or not. Was the test correct? It was a horrendous ethical dilemma for this lovely, lovely couple. So it's not something out, and that's a tiny, tiny example. It's not something out there, it's something here now. We're in it. We are truly in it. And there's pushback, sort of, a little bit. The anti-posthumanist responds that human dignity lies chiefly in accepting the existing contours of human nature as a gift, and that the biotechnical efforts to create human nature according to inevitably arrogant and short-sighted images of perfectibility should be greeted with severe skepticism. So the people who argue against, and that was what the course I took at seminary, that was what my professor was arguing against it, saying, this is dangerous, this is arrogant. You know, we think we can choose genetically, engineer genetically. We think we're choosing properly. We think we can introduce nanoparticles into the environment or into the body. It's arrogant, it's short-sighted, and dangerous. Oh, I don't have it with me. The April 2017 issue of National Geographic, they have an extensive article called The Next Human. And they talk in that article about genetic engineering, about all kinds of things, And that was 2017. So we are on the verge of this. It's happening. Here is a fellow, Neil Harbison. Maybe you've heard of him. He had an antenna implanted that allows him into his head. It allows him to extend his senses beyond typical human perception. So it's not something out there in the future. It's happening now. And the people who are proponents of it, they believe that it will save us. It will save democracy from its demise. Are you horrified yet? I am. We need first to understand that the human form, including human desire and all its external representations, may be changing radically, and thus must be revisioned. We need to understand that 500 years of humanism, 500 years of humanism, we'll come back to that number, 500 years of humanism, may be coming to an end as humanism transforms itself into something that we must helplessly call post-humanism. Do you find this disturbing? Here we are. one more, so there are folks who are participating in this, enthusiastic about it, and there are folks, myself included, who are not. There's a divide here. In the US, the Amish are a religious group most known for their avoidance of certain modern technologies. Transhumanists draw a parallel by arguing that in the near future, there will probably be humanish people who choose to stay human by not adopting human enhancement technologies. And these post-humanists, they believe that the choice of people like me should be respected, that we should be allowed to not alter our bodies in these ways. Isn't that interesting? Where are we going with this? I just had to add a little humor here. There's Data the android and Jordy, Jordy the cyborg, having a drink and loosening up. Hey baby, you want to kill all humans? Another cartoon. But is that true symmetric multiprocessing? You know, the addition of it, the adding of a head onto the Math professor there. And if you were to look at cartoons and younger people, a lot of images of cyborgs and androids are infusing the literature and the media of younger people. What are the arguments against and for this? One of the proponents of it is a woman, Rosie, who's written a book, The Post-Human. She thinks it's great that we're going in this direction. Rosie Braidotti. And this is one of their symbolisms. H, human plus, transhumanism. Yeah, we're getting there. So my professor was quite right that we are on, 20-something years ago, who said, look out. We are on the verge of something momentous and dangerous. But she's completely wrong, because what has it been met with? Has anyone read Bill McKibben's book yet? No. It's too much. Our minds cannot take this in. It is too overwhelming. There are no debates. The technology is surging ahead unchecked. The line of you cannot cross of intrusion on the human body, the ethical line that scientists draw just keeps moving and moving and moving and moving and moving. Is there even a line anymore? I don't think there is. And what are we saying about this? Absolutely nothing. So why was I, when I sort of couldn't stand this book in seminary, and when I sort of read it, was horrified by Bill McKibben's book 15 or so years ago. I'm picking it up now again and trying to understand what my reaction, and perhaps yours, of I don't want to know this. A parallel environmental destruction that's going on. 20, 30, 40 years ago, we didn't want to know. We didn't want to know. And now it's so pervasive that we can't ignore it. We're in a similar situation with transhumanism, with post-humanism. So why did this disturb me so much? And why is it disturbing you? If it is, maybe you're a post-humanist. Maybe you think this is great. As I mentioned, the technology has outpaced legislation. is beyond what can be controlled and understood. Absolutely beyond what can be controlled and understood. There is an Institute for Responsible Technology that is an organization that is trying to fight some of this and trying to bring some ethical, at least an ethical discussion into the situation. But I want to reassure you, we're going in a very positive place with this. In case you want to run out of the room screaming, which is sort of how I feel when I encounter this information. Hang on, forget now. So the basic premise of transhumanism or posthumanism is that the human being is limited, and there's of course this longing to transcend those limitations, right? Now I forgot his name, the great athlete who broke the, was it the 5-minute mile? Do you know, Jeff?
Bannister, 4-minute mile.
The 4-minute mile, Bannister, right. So there was this concept of a human, physiologically, scientists, we know everything, right? We got to figure it out. The human being cannot possibly run faster than 4 minutes. It's not. The first one who did it was Bannister. He broke that supposed limitation, and now we know what we thought was a limit is not. So transhumanism, posthumanism is trying to push us beyond. You know, the fellow with the implant in his head and the thing coming forward, the real human, not Geordi from Star Trek, but the real human who had this done, who can perceive better. So to transcend the limits of human vision. It's a fun thing, right? I mean, wouldn't that be cool to be able to see more, run faster, be stronger, be more intelligent, be more compassionate? You know, what are the limits that you have as a human being? To push that. There's an appeal there. But when does it become the mad scientist who is altering the human body in such a way that, as one of the reviewers said, the arrogance of it, the folly of it, to think that we know we can splice this gene or do this thing and we know what will happen. We can introduce nanotechnologies into the world and it'll be fine. Don't worry, it'll be fine. Haha. I don't believe it. So as I've tried to understand for myself, my revulsion to this, my upset about it, what I've come to realize is this concept of human limitation in the longing to transcend it, you know, to run faster, to be better, to be more. No problem. You can do it without technology. It's called spirituality. It's called religion. It's called meditation. It's called prayer. If we're lucky in a way, there are other scientists. Joe Dispenza is one of them. You don't know his stuff. This is his book. It's called "You Are the Placebo." You are the placebo. You are the placebo. You can do this. And so he's a scientist. He does research, and he helps people heal just like that on stage. He does it through meditation. He does it through helping you train your mind, your body, your breath to break through the apparent barriers you have inside yourself. And he's got tons of data. He was in the movie What the Bleed. If you want a taste of what I'm talking about, watch the movie What the Bleed. It's like 15 years old. It came out maybe around the same time as Bill McKibben's book. So there's this track of people who are trying to transcend human limitation through technology, through genetic engineering. And there's a line of people going back some thousands and thousands of years, there's a line of people wearing my stole with the symbols of the world's religions on it. There's a line of people who say, yes, you can transcend. Absolutely, no problem. We'll show you how. Join our lineage. We have the flags of the world's religions up there. Each of these is a technology for transcending human limitation. Each of these are a doorway to your God self. Each of these are ways to learn how to become more than you thought you could ever become. So yes, I think we should transcend our limitations. Yes, to live longer lives, better lives, healthier lives, to be more compassionate, to be run faster, to think more clearly, to breathe more deeply, to love more fully. Yes. And we can do this without the hazards and the dangers of nanotechnologies. Genetic engineering. Without becoming androids, without transhumanism, without posthumanism. I want to be post. Here we are. As I said at the beginning, when I read from Psalm 139, I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works. My soul knows it very well. Dear friends, I'm here to encourage you to remember that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are made in the image of the divine. You're perfect. The limitations that you have, that we all have, are transcendable. I know this to be true. They are transcendable through spiritual practices, through meditation, through prayer, through connection with nature, through connection with other human beings. I want to go back for a moment to our drawings. Did anybody draw a cyborg in your view of heaven? Did anybody draw even an android? In your view of heaven, did you have a heart transplanted, a mechanical heart, a genetically engineered heart that would make you happier? Probably not. Most of us drew images of nature, of the sun shining, of people hugging. That's what we want. The kingdom of God on earth, that love, and it is possible. It's more than possible. It's being done. There are parallel tracks here. There is the track of the post-human folks who are trying to help us transcend our limit. And I don't necessarily think they're evil. They think they're doing something really wonderful, doing it through technology. And there are folks who are helping us transcend our limits by using the power that we have within us. I mean, there's tons of research now. It's so exciting of spiritual teachers, swamis, yogis, whatever you want to call divine master, ascended masters, people, regular human beings like you and me, who have developed the latent abilities that we all have, who don't need the transplant in their head and the wire thing going out to perceive. They can actually close their eyes and they can read a room. They can teleport. They can heal someone from a distance. They can communicate without the telephone, without cell phones. I remember a story from a friend of mine who is an architect, and she was working, they were out in the fields, like somewhere way distant, and they were working, I think they were, that's right, they were in Australia, and they were working with some of the Aboriginal people, and there were two groups working at separate places, and the one, they had something that needed to change. They were going to meet at a certain time, and there was some upset, they weren't going to be able to get there, and they didn't have a phone or whatever, and so the American architects who were with them were like, how are we going to get the message to this other group? And one of the Aboriginal people who was with them said, I already told them. Sent the message, the problem, sent it through his telepathic abilities. The people on the other side received the message, and they met at the appropriate time. And for the American architect team, they were just amazed. They're like, and it changed their lives. It changed their lives. They saw the possibility within us as humans. They had it. They could not argue against it. And there are thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of research studies and papers and stories. Some of them you have encountered it yourself. Things that you knew. There's no way you could know it, but you knew. Perceptions that you have had. Connections. You are beautifully and wonderfully made. Do you know that about yourself? So, what I hope for, and what I have devoted my life to as an interfaith minister, is helping people find their way home. Home to the beauty and the wonder of who you really are. You have this inside yourself. Each and every single one of you have the ability to transcend your limitations. What is it? What is it that is limiting you? Concern, depression, loneliness. What's the limitation? You can transcend it. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's simple. It's simple in that you already have it within yourself. It's not like you have to go far away to study or to do something complicated. You have it within yourself. It's a matter of rediscovering, coming home to yourself, rediscovering your great abilities. We who are raised in Western culture have been raised to ignore these aspects of ourselves. Other cultures, other people at other times, the spiritual traditions from generations and generations have known this. So we're a little bit handicapped, perhaps, as modern Western people, that we have a prejudice to think, oh, well, the human being stops here. This is I am my physical body. This is it. You are your physical body. You are much more. You are a spiritual body. You are a spiritual body that transcends time and space. If you don't know that yet, you're in for a great ride. And so how do we come home to ourselves? How do we discover these abilities that we have? Through the spiritual practices, through what has been taught to us. That's what it's all about. Through meditation, through prayer, through being in nature, through reading the lessons, the scriptures from the ancient peoples who knew better than we do. To reacquaint yourself with the facts and the how of you being beautifully and wonderfully made. So this whole transhumanism, post-humanism is very, very disturbing in one way. But in another way, I've come to the point where I'm not actually worried about it. I'm concerned. I have my eyes open. I see the danger of it. But I know that all things are possible with love. All things are possible. I know this for a fact because I've experienced it many, many times in my life, and you probably have too. The true power comes from our heart. doesn't come from a nanotechnology. I mean, that might be a fun toy for somebody, but it's not going to actually do it. It's not going to actually. So I hope this has opened your eyes a little bit to what is going on, unchecked, with resounding silence in science, all these supposed innovations. But more than that, I hope this has encouraged you to find your way home to your own powers. Yeah, you can transcend those limitations that are bugging you. And you can do it. By developing, by evolving. On planet Earth right now, I do believe that we are in this intense process of evolution as human beings. And it's not to post-humanism, it's to ascended humanism. It's coming home to our divine selves. So I believe it's a great time to be on planet Earth. I signed up for this ride. It's a wild one. We're going through some crazy, crazy things right now on all levels. You know it well. But it's a great time. It's a great time to be here. And to hold steady in love as these mad scientists are doing their creepy stuff. We are the counter. We are the more powerful balance to all of that. We are the ones who are holding steady in love, who are cultivating our own hearts, who are transcending our limitations through spirit, who are helping us as a human species evolve to something more magnificent. I think it's the Gospel of John. I can't remember exactly. In the New Testament, Jesus said, "You will do even greater things than these." So Jesus did miracles, and it didn't end with him. That was not the point. He said, "You will do even greater things than these." You can perform miracles. Did you know that? You can. Come home to yourself. Come home to the power. So, I am so grateful to Elaine for putting together Sweet Radiant Mystery. We've heard this song before. and when we've done this song before, we have used images from nature. You know, beautiful spider webs, trees, you know, exquisite images from the natural world. You're beautifully and wonderfully made, dear friends. Let us be in awe of the human form. Do you not know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit? Do you not know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit within you? So we accidentally skipped the affirmation. So would you be willing to pull that up, Jermaine, for us now? And what is it all about? It's not about technology. It's about love. It's about love. So join me in our affirmation. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve the needs of all beings to the end that all shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other in the source. You know, it took me some years to come to a place of peace with confronting post-humanism and transhumanism. And I don't want to disturb you, but I want to invite you to open your eyes if you're not aware of what's going on. And I want to leave you uplifted with a sense of hope and positivity that you are beautifully and wonderfully made. And we can do this. We can turn the world around. We can come home to our divine selves and live in, bring the kingdom of God on earth as you drew in your little kid story time. So, yeah, let's hear and sing, turn the world around to lift our spirits and turn us toward the possible. Only can the Spirit turn the world around, folks. We got it covered, no problem. So I hope you sleep well tonight, dreaming of transcending the limitations through the power of your heart, the power of your spirit, through your connection with the people you love, with the planet that you love. If you have found community here, treasure it. If you have found challenge here, I hope you have. Go and sit quietly with the power that is stirring within your own heart. And if you have found hope here, bring it out into our beautiful and bruised world that needs you, the beautifully made human that you are. May it be so. Blessed be.